So James Pate, I think it's Pate, is coming to see me at my office today. He's a Technical SEO Manager at IBM. He's been with IBM for 5-6 years or so, maybe longer. I'm going to talk to him a lot about SEO-related topics. I've spoken to some previous IBM SEOers in the past, but we're going to talk about maybe IBM's framework in terms of SEO, talk about, I don't know, taxonomy and strategies around that with SEO. So it should be a pretty fun conversation. The weather this morning has been pretty bad. Ice storms and so forth, a lot of, not too much snow, but mostly just a lot of ice. So I hope he gets here okay, but it should be interesting. So hope you enjoy the interview. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that bell, comment. Let me know what you want different. Hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye. Well, thanks James for coming out here. I appreciate it. I think it's recording. We're good. Everybody's watching this, not live, but it'll be recorded. So we're recording this. It was kind of like a snowstorm here, ice storm, and you risked your life to come out here just to talk SEO with me.
I braved the weather for SEO. That's right.
You're really dedicated to this profession. So, anyway, can you tell people in this camera over here who you are?
Yeah, I'm James Pate. I work at IBM, and yeah.
So I think I've spoken with other IBMers in the SEO department before, at least a couple. There's a bunch of you guys, and is there like a boss of all of the technical SEOs?
Yeah. So we have a director who runs the SEO department, but yeah, you've probably talked to like Patrick Stox and Tanu maybe.
Yeah. And they encourage these some companies do not encourage anybody to talk to me.
Yeah.
Whereas IBM, I think, or at least people involved in the SEO department, encourage it.
Yeah. They encourage us to go out to conferences and learn more and talk to the community.
They'll be regretting it after. I'm just joking. Cool. So yeah, that's a great team. They have a really. So Patrick left, right, to join a tool set.
Ahrefs, yeah.
Yeah. Not a nice guy.
No.
Anyway, just joking. So that's cool. So you've been with IBM for almost 6 years now, right?
Yeah.
It's going well?
Yeah, I'm loving it there. Lots of different projects we get to work on.
I think their headquarters is not too far from here.
Yeah, we're in Manhattan. So.
I thought they had a headquarters in like Westchester.
Oh yeah, they have one in Armonk as well.
Yeah, so not far if you want to stop by and say hello to you.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's there anyway. But, in fact, I think back in the day, IBM was one of these first major corporations that didn't really care too much to have employees in the office. Although that changed, I think, right before COVID, where they wanted more people in the office, and then COVID happened, I think.
Yeah. They've gone back and forth. Like before,
yeah.
It was always pretty flexible. Like we could come in a few days a week. So.
All right, that's good. I know I met with Tanu, I think, in the IBM in the WeWork office, I think, in Manhattan.
Yeah, we used to sit right beside each other there.
Yeah, so I remember that. Good times. It was kind of downtown, I think, mostly, if I remember correctly. And you're based where again?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. So. Very nice. You had an interesting history, or nice history. You've been doing SEO, I think, since 2010, right?
Yeah. I guess that's about 12 years or so.
Right before Panda came out.
Yeah.
So what got you into SEO in the first place?
Yeah, so I started out kind of developing more software. So I was making a lot of like WordPress plugins. I think the first thing I ever made was when I found out that Google had released like rich snippets stars in search results.
Right.
So I was like, well, that would be a great plugin for a website to. So I made something that could like collect a lot of different reviews, and then you could display them on your website. But it had all the markups so that your pages would show, stars in search results. So that was, I think, one of the first plugins that ever did that.
So you're the reason Google went ahead and kind of cut down the stars in their search results?
Probably.
So if you're just watching, not like you don't do SEO that much, whenever Google releases something that benefits SEOs then say, how could I use this as much as possible to benefit me?
How can I abuse that? Yeah.
So then somebody comes out, like him, comes out with a little script or a tool set that actually goes ahead and like generates stars and everything and pollutes the whole search result. So every single search result has stars on it, and Google's like, we don't want every snippet to have a star on it, so how can we reduce the amount of stars? I mean, this is rinse and repeat in terms of SEO, so I appreciate that. I'm sure you're not to blame, but
Yeah. Also, I did it with like video, because shortly after that, Google released, like you could actually show a giant video image in search results. So it's like if you have videos on your website, you might as well embed them and put the markup and helps your click-throughs. Yeah.
And that's what a true technical SEO really does, instead of my sarcastic humor, is you find ways to basically build tech stack into the actual code so that you can actually surface either, better schema and structured data, rich snippets, or make crawling and indexing easier and so forth, and plus 100 other things. But I mean, as obviously you got into SEO doing technical SEO, which is cool. What else you got? Those are nice.
Yeah, so in terms of like some other stuff I made, I think I did like a Facebook app for like finding leads on Facebook and things like
Back
that.
when that API was pretty
back when the
open.
API was
You could do anything
bigger.
back then, yeah.
But yeah, and then I got into a lot of affiliate marketing because I was like building, a bunch of products. I was getting email lists, and then that was a lot of fun because there was a great affiliate marketing community back in the day. Went to a lot of conferences, and they were really ahead of their time, I think, like the affiliate marketing community, because they were big into like long form sales letters, copywriting, split testing, like a lot of things that have become bigger today. But,
right. I guess before Panda, everybody was creating these long form content and basically trying to convert those leads as best as possible. But the quality of that content wasn't so great. And then I guess a year or two into when you probably first got into that, everything turned around and everybody's like, oh, we got to make sure that long form content actually is written well, I guess, on some level.
Yeah.
So I guess the affiliate space kind of kicked it into high gear at that point, I would guess. Who knows? Cool. And so you did your own thing for about 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah. So I was, started kind of like a local marketing company. So I was doing WordPress development, AdWords, all the local marketing things, and yeah, just getting a lot of experience, mostly with local businesses. And then I decided to work for another company to kind of get more exposure with bigger websites and bigger businesses, and did that for a while.
Cool.
And went to IBM.
How'd that happen? Did IBM recruit you, or?
So actually I used to work with Patrick Stox as well at that company, and went over with him because he went there as well.
You went there the same time as him?
Yeah,
okay.
Right after he went. Interesting.
Cool. And so what do you specifically do at IBM? It says a technical SEO manager, but what's your like day-to-day like?
Yeah, so I wear many hats, like a lot of SEOs do. So I've been involved in a lot of different projects. One of the main things, I manage a lot of like their SEO data structure. Like I manage a lot of the SEO data. I also run a team that kind of goes over, goes after IBM's priority products and just focuses on improving and adding content, anything we can to improve inbound search and the experience around all of their really important products. Also, do a lot of one-off like technical SEO projects. But like I built a redirect engine. I made like a crawler that manages a lot of their URLs and data and things like that.
Because from what I remember, I think one of the SEOs there showed me, it's not just IBM.com, but there's tons of like subdomains and subsections and microsites, and it's just a lot to manage.
Oh yeah, and it's an old website, so they have a lot of like subdomains and many different business units. So there's always like interesting projects to work on and figure out.
And who decides who works on what, or it's just like SEOs get to say, I'm passionate about this, I want to do it, or?
Yeah, so our director is really flexible, and if there's a project we want to work on, we can kind of go after it.
Cool. So. All right, so let's get into the topics you wanted to talk about. So the first one is about a framework on how you manage enterprise SEO data. Want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the things when I first got there was that like the way that a lot of SEO tools organize data, it's like you go into a platform and you enter like a bunch of keywords, and then you track the search results. But what I found is that if you want to track individual pages, it gets to be a huge hassle when you're dealing with giant websites, because you can have thousands of pages in each of those URLs, especially if you're at a big company where URLs are changing, or you're doing migrations, moving things over different CMSs. It becomes a hassle to manage like all your pages and keywords in like in a lot of SEO platforms. So I got our team to start using Airtable, which it's kind of like a system that's a relational database, but you can kind of collaborate in it. So you can set up a lot of data relationships between different tables and types of data, just like you would in any application or database. But you don't have to set up like, you have to be a developer and set up like all the infrastructure behind it. So there's a few like types of data that we try to manage in there. Everything from keywords. We also store keyword intent. So that's one of the big things that I think is important in SEO, is not only tracking keywords, but making sure when you're looking at a keyword that you're mapping out the intent of that keyword.
How do you do that manually, or do you have some type of system to handle it?
I mean, there's definitely ways that I've used to try and automate it, but I think it is best to have some manual review, because anytime you're doing keyword research, you need to make sure you understand the topic and the type of user who's trying to like go after that keyword. So usually the rule is you look at search results, you look at like the top 5 results, and the intent of those search results kind of determines the intent of the keyword. So you're kind of using Google to say, okay, what are people generally who are searching for this keyword? Is it more they want to learn about the topic? Are they do they have commercial intent? Is it looking for jobs? So we categorize intent for every keyword so that we have that data stored. Yeah.
Okay, and then so it's going back to this Airtable thing. So you have your keywords, you have your keyword intents, which sometimes I guess it can be hard to figure out the intent of a keyword if it can be multiple intents.
Yeah, sometimes it's mixed intent, but usually I just say the top majority intent from the top 5 keywords just as a rule, so you have, just to keep it simple.
Okay.
And then the other thing I store is topics. So I group not only keywords, but also pages by topics. So that way you can say, okay, I have a page about artificial intelligence. Then you can group different types of pages that you have within that same topic. So you can say, I have a page that talks about our services around this. I have a page that talks about our solutions around this, and I have a page that is more educational intent,
right,
like explaining what is artificial intelligence. And that way you build up a database that you can easily find gaps in your content and different opportunities. So you can say, once you have all this mapped out and you say, okay, these are all my pages. I also categorize them all by page category. Some of that's automated. But you can say, okay, I have a solution page around this topic. Here's a potential keyword we've identified that has learn intent around this topic, but we don't have a learn page. So all of that can be automated just by mapping out that data ahead of time. So that's one of the many benefits we found from kind of capturing a lot of this data that most SEO tools don't capture.
Cool. I could see that capturing the topics could also be useful in saying, I have X number of pages on this topic. Maybe I should make some type of like pillar or category page that is a higher level, so that you can kind of, what's all the SEO buzz these days is creating these pillar pages and hub pages, because they tend to rank better and also provide another avenue for Google to index and then find other pages off of that pillar page that might not be an index as well. The content gaps solution is interesting because it's generating more content around stuff that you might be missing that you don't know. But I think with IBM, it's probably really hard. I wonder if I think with IBM, maybe it's like more of like, we have this content gap, but do we really? Meaning, where is this? I know we have content all over the place. Maybe I could find content that we have somewhere else that I could, kind of surface better. And I wonder how much of the time that you're finding these content gaps, do you also find that, wait, we do have content on this topic, it's Google's not finding it?
Oh yeah, that's the first step we do when we're making a new page. It's like, do we actually already have content about this that we can reuse? Because when you have a website that's been around for years, usually you do have someone who's made something, so a lot of it's consolidation as well. But the main thing is you kind of want to set it out as like a blueprint for what you want your website to target and which pages you want to target which topics. So the other thing that I store is topic relationships, which opens up a ton of opportunities in terms of like automating and planning out your website. So I actually manage our entire topic taxonomy in Airtable, and that was I can talk about this a little later, but it's basically relationships between every topic, and it's stored like polyhierarchical. So it's meant to be kind of like a blueprint for how you should be linking between different pages on your website.
So then let's say you take this Airtable, you're looking at it, you see basically your strategy that you want to go forward with, how your content currently is out, and then you're looking for these issues on your current website and how to, I guess, say where are we missing with this strategy? Like this is the strategy that you're trying to find the URLs that you need to fix or redirect or consolidate. That's the plan usually.
Yeah. So it can show you, say you have a parent topic, like say it's cloud computing, and then you have subtopics around that. The idea is that if you have all of your topics mapped out and all of the subtopics tagged, then you can kind of use that as a blueprint and say, am I linking to all of the subtopics of a certain page type that I should be? Or within one topic, are all of these pages linking to each other? Making sure you have those kind of groups of pages that are around a topic linking to each other, because that's obviously a huge thing in ranking, is making sure you're giving users related content to the topic that they're reading about. So, that can be horizontally within the same topic, linking to different page types that are talking about the same thing, or vertically linking to subtopics or parent topics.
But you're not writing the content. You're just finding these issues.
No, we have a content team. I mean, we try and insert ourselves into the content process for certain page types. When it's things that we want to make sure are written well.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. I'd love to. That's something obviously internal. You're not gonna. Airtable is very widely used in general.
Yeah.
I think you can share Airtable like templates with other. Maybe I'm wrong. I think you're saying. Either way, I guess if anybody's in the solution where they can reach out to you, maybe they want to. So reach out to them. Yeah. You're on Twitter, or what's your?
Yeah, just James F. Pate.
All right, cool. We'll link to that in the video here and in the description. All right. So the next thing is enterprise SEO adoption.